Regardless of how brave you may be or the level of paranormal intensity that you have experienced, there is nothing that compares to being taken over by a demon. Today's video is all about some of the scariest instances of demon possession that were filmed on camera. You can understand how serious the gravity of this situation is just by looking at the expression on this woman's face. A video that was shared on Instagram showed this extreme case of a middle-aged woman who was taken over by a demon. A video probably filmed by one of her family members showed that the demon appears to have childish behavior while it was leaving a physical toll on the woman. Since the clip ended abruptly, it is unclear what her fate is. Possessing in progress. This young teenage girl who, while hanging out with her friends until suddenly started shaking and her pupils started to turn black completely. The moment clearly shows that the girl was being taken over by some kind of demon or supernatural entity. Viewers were weirded out by how her friends reacted by simplifying to just laughing instead of an understandable reaction of either helping or fleeing the scene. Some of them believed that this could have been some ritual in the works, or that the entire crowd too was taken over from them to behave in such an unexpected manner. Relieving the demon. A man took his daughter to a well-known exorcism expert. At first, she sat calmly, hands resting in her lap, silent. But as the ritual began, everything shifted. She suddenly let out a piercing scream, and her body rose into the air, rigid and tense. Her voice changed, deeper, unnatural. The expert continued his chants, but whatever had taken hold of her wasn't letting go easily. Her body trembled mid-air, as if some unseen force was clinging tight. It didn't feel staged. It felt like a true battle between something human and something else refusing to leave. Street exorcism. A clip that was taken by a tourist on the streets of the Philippines showed the intense moment where locals were trying to restrain a man who seemed to be possessed in an attempt to perform an exorcism. The grip of the spirit was quite strong in this case, where the men were struggling to get him under control. Moments later, the local priest stepped in and began the process of relieving the demon from the host. Staircase demon stalker. A boy in a hostel saw a man running up the stairs getting closer to him. He quickly locked his room door, feeling something was wrong about the man. As he slowly opened the door, he saw him outside acting strangely. To make things worse, the man's eyes turned completely white, unlike any human eyes. It seemed like he wasn't in control of himself. The boy feared that the man might be possessed by a ghost. Without hesitation, he closed the door and decided that staying inside was the best choice for him. Ouija board trouble. Trying to talk to a ghost or the spirit of a dead loved one using the Ouija can backfire in the most unexpected way. A group of girls who were using the Ouija board where, despite following the proper ritual, instead of getting to talk to a spirit, ended up having one of them taken over by the spirit. She became violent and aggressive towards others, just as the look on her face changed, scaring them all away. In time, they returned to help calm her down and back in control of herself.
Sorry. Do you need water? Want some water?
Spirit of witch. It's not just the witches that you have to watch out for, but also the spirit of the witches can sometimes take over. A group of men, while having a casual conversation, they felt the presence of something behind them. Initially, they didn't see it because of the dark until it got closer, revealing its spooky face and instantly scaring them off. According to the source, this wasn't exactly a witch, but a girl who had been taken over. Exorcism in progress. A viral video captured a woman acting in a way that left viewers both confused and disturbed. Her movements were erratic, unnatural, like she wasn't in control of her own body. Nearby, a priest could be seen performing a solemn ritual.
You are not stronger than Christ.
The situation escalated quickly when she lost control entirely, forcing her family to restrain her. That's when it became clear this wasn't just a medical emergency, it appeared to be an exorcism, and many believed she was under the grip of something dark, possibly a demonic force. All anyone could hope was that she would recover and finally be free. Haunting Humanoid. Is this a person who is rabid, possessed, or perhaps just a zombie? A couple of villagers, after dark, somewhere in Bangladesh, encountered this weird entity that suddenly appeared out of the blue, showing aggressive behavior at first, until the bystanders were able to bring the situation under control. The fact that it stopped and had its eyes shining brightly is one of the clues that point out that this person or humanoid was possessed. Intruding Una Bruha. While you might agree that exploring haunted houses is like asking for trouble, what if it turned the other way around? An Airbnb user who rented a property for holidays on the outskirts of Michigan, where after he reached, first had a power outage, and in the cover of the darkness, something came rushing towards him while growling. Although no one was able to recognize this intruder properly, many of the netizens debated it to match the description of Una Bruha. Talking demon.
Let me in. Huh? What? What's wrong with you? What?
Just by a single glance at this entity, you can know something is very wrong with it. This deeply disturbed woman appeared from the pitch darkness of the night in California and was desperately trying to negotiate her way in. You could tell by looking at her that she was possessed by someone powerful demon that was in the play here, using the actual voice of the host. However, when talking, a way didn't work. The demon started to get violent, just as suspected.
They took my daughter. Burger? Please let me inside. Burger!
Spirit of the Baphomet. Imagine having to wake up in the middle of the night only to discover a large, creepy walking shadow in your bed. A lone father shared this footage that he filmed after having his sleep interrupted in the dead of the night, showing a tall, Baphomet-shaped shadow. Moments later, it revealed to have taken his only daughter into a trance, which made him react in fear, where the charge started to garble seconds before the video ended. Vlogging doll. Captured at an amusement park in 2023, this eerie footage features a small doll eerily lifelike in appearance, bearing an uncanny resemblance to a real young girl. The man who filmed it claimed its eyes appeared to follow his movements, though the doll itself never shifted. Its face was unnervingly detailed, realistic skin texture, natural eye reflections, almost human. Strangely, no one at the park recognized the doll, and it wasn't listed as part of any known attraction. Some speculate it might be more than just a toy, perhaps something paranormal, possibly linked to the spirit of a lost child reaching out from beyond. Haunted Aftermath unraveled. Following a tragic event that took the lives of his family, who had lived near a long-abandoned house, a grieving man set out to uncover the truth behind what had happened. Determined, he entered the decaying home, where silence hung heavy in the air. There, on a dusty old sofa, sat a doll oddly pristine amid the ruin. The moment he picked it up, a horrifying figure materialized before him. It resembled a witch, cloaked in shadows, and wielding a sense of dark magic that seemed to seep from the walls themselves. The encounter was so terrifying that the man fled the house in terror. Word quickly spread, and from that day on, no one dared live anywhere near that cursed forgotten place again. Real-life well girl. The only difference between the ring girl and her is that she showed her face. A remote resident of an undisclosed location filmed and shared this footage on his Instagram, showing what looks to be either a witch or a woman under the influence of a demon. The recorder was about to fetch some water from the well when this troubled well girl suddenly appeared, catching him by surprise. Aside from attempting to scare him away with its frightful appearance, it didn't show any intentions of physical confrontation. What would you do in this situation? Do share down in the comments. Moving Quinciera doll. Stuffed toys or dolls are one of the easiest and most common hosts of demons and spirits, which you never see coming until the last moment. This girl who, while recording a video with her quinceañera doll, was caught off guard as in the middle of the recording, the doll's head turned towards her, along with the upper body and staring at her, which immediately terrified the girl. There is no telling what this doll may be capable of, especially when considering the example of Chucky.
Presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron sus 15 años.
No manches, mira.
Customer ghost. A video captured at a bustling food stall showed what seemed like an ordinary moment, a girl standing beside the vendor, patiently waiting for her order. But then, something unsettling happened. Her face began to twist and contort in ways that defied logic or anatomy. It wasn't a prank or a mask. There was nothing playful about it. Witnesses were left disturbed, some convinced she was possessed, others whispering about shapeshifters. Imagine being the vendor, just doing your job, only to realize the customer in front of you might not be entirely human. Suddenly, grabbing a quick bite doesn't seem so harmless anymore. Haunting demon girl. A driver who, while passing through the woods on a pitch dark night, encountered this very troubled figure walking alone. He slowed down, thinking to offer a right until she stopped, turned towards him, revealing that she was puncturing herself several times. This immediately spooked the driver so much so that he turned around and went back the way he came from, most likely to find an alternate route.
Oh, God.
The puppet walk. It's not just the fact that this puppet is walking that's cool here, but rather it has given in. This footage went viral, showing a scary yet tiny stuffed toy that was walking almost as if it were learning to take its first few steps. Considering that this very well could be a supernatural entity in play here, many of the viewers claimed that this could be an actual real-life case of Chucky. Sleepwalking or in distress.
Where's your mommy? Hey, buddy.
Aside from the fact that this child could be suffering from a number of diseases, the chances of his being in distress are just as good. A driver on the outskirts of Colorado, while heading towards the city, was on a stop when he noticed a little boy who was heading towards him.
Dude, this kid's coming up on me. Like,
being dressed in a night suit, it certainly looks like he walked out of his home without anyone's knowledge. The boy seemed to be looking in a particular direction, constantly showing that he was in fact in distress, or at least under the control of a spiritual being. Possessed on the spot. Hunting for spirits, witches, and other paranormal entities has an aftermath that can get far worse than you'd have ever expected. A group of ghost hunters in Iraq was exploring a cave after reports of paranormal activity. After reaching deep down, one of them was possessed or came under the control of a ghost spirit or black magic. As the panic set in, a bizarre figure in dark clothing appeared and was in the background as if it were controlling the spirit that took over one of them. The victim remained frozen for a while before he eventually passed out from fatigue. Ring camera sighting. A family was left stunned after reviewing footage from their Ring camera. The recording, captured shortly after 6 a.m., revealed an eerie visitor. A small, unsettling figure with sharp claws, jagged teeth, and a wrinkled face stood staring directly into the lens. It didn't ring a bell, just stared, as if delivering a silent warning. Ring cameras are designed to catch everything. But what if they're picking up more than we expect? Maybe they're revealing brief glimpses of something from the spiritual world that's beyond our understanding. Moving baby toy. Apart from all that you know, there are many other reasons why you should never leave small children unattended like this. Considering the level of intelligence and the skill of its sneaking up, this toy could turn into a real-life Chucky. Haunted house prisoner? Imagine going through a long abandoned house, not only to find it to be haunted, but also holding a prisoner within. A video recording shared by an unknown source shows his encounter with what looks like an actual human being who happened to be taken over by a djinn. After a few minutes of chatting, the recorder was told by the possessed person that he couldn't leave the area as the spirit that was in control wouldn't let him. This certainly has raised a serious concern for paranormal investigators.
انت انسان؟
Walking teddy bear. Just as the doll, this one too is quite concerning, at least for the children. A homeowner who, after dropping off his family at the airport for vacation, made a striking discovery of a teddy bear that was walking casually in the middle of the hallway. Unprepared for how to react, the man slowly but sneakily got closer to inspect. In no time he was spotted and attempted to flee in panic. Just then, the video got cut off. Locked in the room. They call it the sleepless horror, a nightmarish figure draped in death. Its skin, pale and stretched tightly over its skeletal frame, clings like parchment to bone. Hollow, sunken eyes seem to see straight through you, while its mouth stretches impossibly wide, filled with jagged, decaying teeth. Some whisper it's the product of a failed experiment, something caught between the realm of the living and something far worse. It moves in sharp, unnatural bursts, each step accompanied by a rasping breath that chills the air. Those who've seen it seldom speak of the encounter, and judging by what the creature looks like when it's alone, I can't say I blame them. Supernatural bodyguard. Sometimes it's the person that you should be afraid of, rather than the spirit that he carries along with him. This CCTV footage from an unknown location was shared on the internet, showing a man who attempted to start a brawl with another man who was waiting at a bus stop. Within moments, tables got switched when a demon or a supernatural natural entity that seemed to have taken the victim as a host came out to defend him. With the least amount of effort, it was able to stop the aggression. Freaky clown. If you thought clowns were creepy, imagine getting to see one that's taken over by a djinn. This clown was filmed by a concerned white-collar homeowner who noticed it sitting in the swing set of the park and staring right towards him and his residence. It had an expressionless face with its lower jaw protruding out, giving it the vibe of a fictional character that we all know as Pennywise. Now, here's what made it creepy is the fact that the clown was sitting in the same exact spot for several hours straight. Dark web leaked footage. Just when you think to have seen enough, it gets better and better. This clip, which was initially leaked on the dark web by an unknown source, shows a very haunting and captivated figure with a huge mouth showing its face to be rather hollow from the inside. It is unknown if this was an exorcism in play or the doing of some kind of black magic that may have been in the works. Beggar with demon influence.
Sorry.
As a girl made her way through a dim basement tunnel of a building, she noticed a beggar lying on the ground, apparently asleep. She tread carefully past him, but suddenly, a glass rolled across the floor on its own. Startled, she turned around and saw the beggar now sitting up. Unease crept in as she quickened her pace. When she glanced back again, he was behind her, and for a brief moment, his face transformed into something horrifying and inhuman. Panic surged through her, and she broke into a run. Another glance over her shoulder showed him back to normal, just standing still. But she didn't take any chances. He didn't seem like an ordinary beggar, more like a ghost in disguise. Hopefully, she escaped in time.
I don't...
Crib Crusader. As random and unpredictable as the movements of a baby can be, you can never expect to know what they might do next. This case, however, is completely different. A baby monitor picked up this bizarre moment on camera, showing the baby standing on the edge of the crib with perfect balance while screaming on top of his lungs at 3 a.m. Although the parents only noticed this moment much later and were surprised as to what might be the cause here. Could it be that the baby came under the influence of a ghost, if not a demon? Stalking demon. The only thing that could be worse than being possessed by a demon is having to find one coming seeking to take your life. A lone young woman, through her apartment window, noticed a very strange figure that was standing idly for hours while staring at her from time to time. It got to the point where it started closing in on her. In panic, the girl left her apartment to avoid getting trapped, which exactly seemed to be the case as she noticed it walking down the stairs inside the building soon after. The Cursed One. One night in the quiet town of Pitcher, the locals spotted a lone figure standing at the edge of the woods. At first, they assumed it was just a person, but they were mistaken. When the figure slowly turned, its face came into view, twisted, unfamiliar, and deeply unsettling. Its head was oddly shaped, with nothing resembling any known creature. Within seconds, it vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a chilling silence. An eerie sense of dread settled over the town, as if something far more sinister had been watching them all along. Whispers spread that it was a demon and that Pitcher had been cursed. Petrified or possessed? When it comes to ghosts and demons, it's not just the humans that they influence, but sometimes even animals. A farmer discovered one of his livestock goat that was standing still on just 2 of its hind legs. It didn't move at all, and even the eyes didn't seem to move at all, even though it was still breathing. From the clip itself, as you can see, it's hard to tell if it was possessed or petrified after seeing someone or something. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again,